Alright, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're going to be putting a ceramic coating on the Model 3. Now this thing's about 4.5 years old. It's my daily driver, and this video is for all you people out there that want to put a ceramic coating on your car. You don't want to pay some expensive price to have it done, but you feel like it takes some extraordinary skills to get it done. It doesn't. You can do it yourself. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Let's get started. Before we move any further into this, it's super important that we do a really good decontamination wash or strip wash. Now there's a lot of ready-to-go products and I'll leave links down in the description, but today I'm gonna go Frankenstein and mix up my own because I want to control the strength of this. Now this car's had spray sealants, drying aids, you name it, sprayed on it for the last 4.5 years. I want all that off. I want it stripped down and I want it to the bare clear coat so that when I polish it, it's just going to be that much less work. Let's get it mixed up and let's get going. I'm going to start today with 2 ounces of Green Star from Koch Chemie. That's the way I like to say it. We're going to add 1 ounce of DIY Detail Incredible Suds, put it into the foam cannon, shake it up, and let's get started. Now that we got this all mixed up, I wanted to point out a few things about using high pH solutions. They can be not so healthy for your skin. I went through a lot of gloves on this detail, and I recommend that you do the same. Get yourself some good nitrile gloves. Again, I'll have links to some good ones down in the description. Also, when you're using strip wash or decontamination wash, make sure it's not in direct sunlight, and if it is, don't let it dry on the paint. We want to let it dwell, we want to let it do its job, but drying on the paint is not good. Next up is an often overlooked area when you get a ceramic coating, those door jambs. You're going to have to pay extra for this. It's going to require cleanup. It's going to require prepping the panel and ceramic coating. Today we're going to be using a rinseless wash mixture. It's going to come off really easy because I've always kept these door jambs clean, but we want to get them ultra clean from front to back, get it prepped so when we ceramic coat it, it's going to last, and that's going to make cleaning those door jambs super easy in the future. Now that we finished the decontamination wash, I'm looking at the paint thinking to myself, wow, about 90% of the stuff that looked like trouble on the paint under the microscope or the bright detailing lights has washed away. It's been stripped away. The caked on, baked on dirt, the stacking of the drying aids and all the detail sprays and everything, that's all gone and the paint looks pretty reasonable. If you still had trouble on the paint, meaning you're touching it and it feels scratchy under the hand, we would go ahead and use a rinseless wash, lightly hit it with a clay towel and try to remove some of that. But keep in mind that's going to introduce some scratching and marring, and we want to be real careful with that. If you need it, you need it. If you don't, you don't. You could also add an iron remover on there if you live somewhere where iron is ending up on your vehicle from driving on the freeways a lot, or you live near a steel mill or something like that and you need to get that iron off of there. That would be a good time to do it. But I'm realizing that this Model 3 paint is in great condition, so it's time to move on to the polishing. I wanted to talk about a few rules with polishing and just good tips and techniques that are going to make you feel confident to get out there and get going polishing your vehicle. Now keep in mind that 95% of the stuff you see when the sun reflects off your car is easily removable. It's in the very, very, very top bit of your clear coat, and it can be removed with little to no risk whatsoever. Now I know what some of you are thinking, Jeremy, I'm going to hop on Amazon and get myself a paint depth gauge, take a few pokes around the paint, and I'm going for that deep scratch and I'm getting it out. Well, let me tell you, man, you're not Larry from Ammo. That guy has years of polishing experience, and when he's doing that type of process, he's using a high skill level and some real good decision making to not end up burning through the clear coat. Now keep in mind, you can get 95% of that visible marring and scratching off with little to no risk. And I suggest if you don't have that level of polishing experience, that's where we should be. But let's go ahead and polish this car up. So I'm going to show you one of the easiest ways to get polishing on the paint. I'm going to start with a real good inspection of the paint. I got my big light up here and I've already done kind of a general look, and man, it's in pretty good shape. But I'm going to come in close, kind of look at an angle here. Going to try to determine where it needs the most action and where it doesn't. So I already know right off the bat that I don't need to do a real deep pass. This is going to be a surface clean. We'll start with the wool pad, a couple shots of rinseless wash. Get the pad spinning. That's plenty. Go ahead, same thing. Give it a little wet. Fire it up. Perfect amount, nice and spread evenly. Don't want to hit anything here. Not worth it. Easier sometimes to go ahead and hit it with a little rinseless. I really like to do that. Oh yeah, it makes it come off so much easier. Oh yeah, that's nice and clear. I get a lot of questions about how to get that glass super cleaned up, get it looking like new again, or even better than new. Today we're going to be ceramic coating the glass also, so we're going to use a real similar polishing process that we do on the paint. The one big difference is we can use a coarse pad, we can be quite a bit more aggressive because we're not worried about burning through the paint or damaging the paint. The glass is super hard, so we're going to run that polisher over it, get all that contamination off, get it wiped down, and get it all prepped up for that ceramic coating. Now that we've polished that paint to the best of our ability, this thing looks amazing. All the marring, all the scratching is gone. I've did a full inspection with my detailing light and I'm happy with it. It's time to prep that paint for the ceramic coating now. Now there's two different ways of doing this. One is with a traditional panel prep. This one's by Armor. This is my all-time favorite. It smells good, goes on easy, wipes off super easy. Now the design behind this type of product is to remove that last little bit of residue that could be left behind from polishing or any other part of this entire process, and it's going to strip that paint down and get it ready to give you that best chance for that ceramic coat to bond. The next option we have out there is AP, or adhesion promoter polish. Now what we do is put some of this on our low RPM orbital sander with a polishing pad on it, and we're going to move that product around the panels. Now the goal here is not to polish the paint anymore or do any more paint correction. It's literally just to apply the product around the panel. Now what this does is it sits on top of the clear coat and it kind of gets that clear coat ready to get that max bonding ability so that that ceramic coat can grab a hold of it and stick really good. Now there might be some scientific more depth to that, but that's basically the bottom line. Now with this product, it's easy to put on, it's really easy to remove. I do about half the vehicle and then I wipe it down, do the other half. You can do much more than that. You can actually do less than that before you wipe it. That's up to you. Move along at the pace that you've earned with your skill set. That's what I always like to think. Start small, and if things are going good, keep on trucking. But that's how we'll do it. Once you're done with the app, you do not need to use a traditional panel prep. It's ready to ceramic coat right on top of this process. I feel like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark opening up the Ark of the Covenant. And this box looks insane. So it's time for the ceramic coating. Now, those of you that watch the channel, you saw that I put C6 Ceramics Hydro version professional on my Model Y. And I'll tell you what, that has been absolutely amazing. Repels water like I've never seen before. It's super glossy, super slick to the touch. I'll tell you what, it gets dirty and then I drive it in the rain, and when I get home, it's cleaner than when I left, which is pretty crazy. So today I brought in the Hydro Light version from C6 Ceramics. Now this is the consumer grade model. This is available to everyone out there to do it yourself. Ivan says it's almost as good as the professional version, so I chose to put it on my car and I wanted to share it with you guys. That's going to be awesome. Let's take a look inside here. The boxing is unbelievable. Smaller box inside with the bottle in there, super protected. It's got a credit card in there, metal credit card. On the back, customer name, vehicle, and application date, so you can keep track of what's going on there. A few stickers for you. Now overall, let's talk about ceramic coatings. There's 50 different brands out there and a lot of them are pretty good. Now I have a lot of experience working with the DIY products and the C6 Ceramics now, so I'm really happy with them, but I've tried a lot of other ones and they're really good too. So when you're splitting hairs, I choose to spend my money with the people to give back to the community. And I have to say, Ivan, you do a good job out there. Today it's C6 Ceramics Hydro Light going on my personal car. Let's get it started. Yeah. We'll start by putting a few drops onto the applicator pad, and we'll start working a smaller section. I'll be doing up and down now, and then following up with left to right. It's very important to start with a small section until you learn the product, learn your working environment, learn how long you have to take to wipe all this off before you get too much on the panel. This product has a really nice long working time, so I went ahead and did the bottom half as well. After a few minutes, you're going to start to see the product hazing or rainbowing on the paint. That's when it's time to take a high quality soft microfiber towel and just gently buff all the residue we can off. Flip the towel, and now we should feel it super slick under the towel, indicating that there's no unwiped residue left on the paint. Now we'll work the other side of the hood. Just a couple drops on here. The pad should already have some product on it. Again, we're wiping in that crosshatch pattern. About a 50% overlap for each wipe. We'll do vertical and then we'll do horizontal top to bottom, just making sure we catch every bit, full 100% coverage. After that hazing or rainbowing starts, we're going to do the same thing, just gently wiping up and down, left and right, just so we get that tacky residue feeling off of the paint. We'll flip the towel and then it should be nice and slick. And I'm always looking at an angle with the lights here to make sure that I've caught every bit of residue off of the paint. And now it's time for a very thorough inspection with our detailing light. This is when we're going to catch any residue that was left behind to try to avoid that product curing on the surface, creating a high spot that's going to be really problematic for us later. Now we'll go ahead and repeat the process all the way around the vehicle. It's just going to require less and less product each time because that pad is starting to get saturated with ceramic coating. The right amount of product is the applicator should be gliding along the surface. If you feel it getting draggy at all and you feel like you're not getting 100% coverage on your passes, add a little bit more product. But if you're looking and there's plenty of product on the panel, just keep going and don't add any more coating onto the applicator. As your comfort level and your skill set improves with the product and the working conditions, you can start to do bigger areas on the paint. The only catch would be that you don't want to get so far ahead of yourself that it starts curing before you get to wipe it down. It's better to be safe than sorry. During the wipe down, again, I'm just going to do this first pass. It's going to feel a little draggy under the towel. That's normal as we're wiping that coating off. And it should, as I flip the towel and start working the panel on the second pass, it should feel really slick underneath the towel. Make sure you're using whatever light source you have available to double check that all the residue is being removed from the panel. If for some reason we did miss some product, we're going to catch it here in the next step, which is going to be our final inspection of the panel. Here we'll get the detailing light out, we'll look on an angle, and anywhere you see where there's any evidence of a streak or product remaining, now is when we want to wipe it down. Over on my website I have some tips and techniques on how to deal with any missed high spots. Applying to the glass is no different. I've sped this up because you've seen it 3 times already. Just a good crosshatch pattern, left and right. I go all the way around and get the most of the window that I can get. Up and down, just overlapping again to make sure we get 100% coverage on the window. Follow up with a good wipe down and inspect and correct. Now that I've made it around the entire vehicle, I'm going to come and get those extra credit areas like inside the door jambs. The applicator is nice and saturated with product, so I hardly had to use any in this case. Follow up with a good wipe, same process as the exterior paint. And wow, look at that thing shining. That's nuts. And I'll just make my way around the car, getting every single door jamb, trying to get it as thorough as I can. These are highly trafficked areas and the ceramic coat's really going to help in the future. And you can see the level of detail up inside these hinge areas. A nice wide angle of that whole jamb, the rear section of the door, under the back trunk. I even ceramic coated all the plastic under the front hood. So you've went through the long process and it's now complete. We washed it, we polished it, we ceramic coated it, and the coatings normally within a few hours are pretty cured, but 12 to 24 hours before they're fully cured in some cases, and we want to protect it beyond that. I highly recommend after an hour or two, after applying the ceramic coating and you're positive that it's got a good surface cure on it, spraying a topper product on there. Now there's all kinds of good ones: drying aid, bead maker, ceramic gloss, mist, and my favorite, Amplify by Armor. You go ahead and spray this product on, wipe it off, just a real light wipe to a polish, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be instantly slick. It's going to provide that sacrificial layer just in case you have to drive the car that same afternoon, or you do it for a client and they take it and you water kicks up on it and you just want to make sure it's fully protected. This is going to do it for sure, and any one of these would. So it's just a nice little icing on the cake. Put that topper product on there. Not only that, but it just makes instant, insane gloss and slickness. So I highly recommend that. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. That's my process for the enthusiast detailer or the professional to get a ceramic coating on their vehicle with no hardships or no misunderstandings. Just straightforward, easy to do. There's just a few things you need. A good place to do it, preferably out of the sun, definitely out of the heat, in the shade. A garage is ideal, but in a late afternoon or under a tree or next to a tree or under a tent, use your imagination, but just don't do it in a baking hot sun where the sun is beating on the panel, heating that panel up. You want the panel cool to the touch and a decent working environment. But anybody can do it. Don't be afraid of it. Get your ceramic coating, get your polisher, get your car shining, looking unbelievable. Anybody can do it. And everything I use today, it's all good stuff. Links for everything will be down in the description. I took the time to make a detailed explanation of this entire process over on my website, hawaiidetailing.com. If you have any questions, stop over and read through that. It's a short read and it covers everything that I couldn't cover in a video because the video would be an hour long. And if you have any questions after that, leave them in the comments down below. Email me. I'm always up for it. Again, links to everything are in the description. When you use the links, it supports the channel. That keeps me out here trying to make instructional videos and helpful videos for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next one. And yes, the carnivore diet's working good. We'll see you on the next one.